Greetings and welcome, East Hampton, Southampton, Amagansett, and community. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Café with Sandra K. Today we have a truly exciting show in store for you. We are standing in the sand dunes off the shores of Amagansett, where a ship mast was discovered by local resident Joel Kelsey, a bow and arrow hunter. Today, Joel and our very own Digger Brad are here to help search for additional artifacts surrounding this ship mast so we can discover where this ship came from, how old the ship is, the size of the ship, what period of time it came from, and was this a merchant ship? Was this a pirate ship? What brought this ship here? Was there a fire? Were there hurricanes and storms? Or was it warfare? We're going to take a look at this incredible find and see what we can uncover. Let's go to it.
You know what I mean?
They're actually, because normally when a mast goes up on the ship, that means that we know that there was a shipwreck out there. This is a great story. When we were in the Bahamas, we had a really bad storm, and apparently some cannons came up to the beach. And I realized that as soon as I saw the cannons, that they were apparently from a ship that sank in the 1700s, because it had the line on it, it had the crown on it, and it had key marks. And I looked them up, and I said, "Yes, maybe 1700 cannons." Mm-hmm. And so they were just amazed at my knowledge, and they're just like, "Is that so?"
Yeah, I mean, the thing is too is also like it was a weird day on the beach. Like a lot of the debris, everything was in layers. Like like the whatever happened storm wise that did this. Like there was like lighter garbage layered in one part. Then there was a different type of like heavier garbage. Everything got sifted out like naturally. And it was like a sifted, like naturally got sifted. So then. Once that happened, I did find a bunch of there's like little like pieces of wood that just are obviously old and stuff, smaller pieces of steel and other stuff like that. But I was thinking once the water gets a little bit warmer, I'll throw a wetsuit on and maybe dive the area around there too, also to see if there's anything on the bottom, That's where the water came through. up like a really old mast and what they used to tighten them and stuff back in the day. And a picture with the same exact clasps came up with the same.
That's got to be like 12 feet, right?
Big, right?
Bigger, I
Big.
think. We'll see when we really get close to it.
There's nails and stuff in it.
What?
I bet there's stuff around it.
There has to be.
There has to be.
They're definitely, I collected some.
There's got to be. I mean, he's going to have a blast doing this.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
These
Wow.
are solid cast iron steel.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this was
Super old.
the center of a huge.
Super old. This is what held these together.
Wow, it must have been such a big ship.
I'm saying that had to be at least it had to be like a cat. So this right
Like
here,
75 feet long or something.
and these are wooden pegs. that
Oh,
go up the
wow.
mast.
Yeah, they are. These two.
Yep, those are wooden pegs that are driven in by hand.
So this is a wooden
But most of
peg.
the bottom of them pretty rusted away. But I mean, you could take a sample to digger if you want to do, like just a piece of this.
Right.
Great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
But I really could tell that, you know, it was something by, especially these clasps. And then once I saw that these wooden pegs were in there,
Right.
and I found a couple round nails.
I can't believe the pegs survived.
Yeah, I can't believe this. See, this
Well,
is
even
like
here.
That's metal.
That's
Yeah.
metal.
it's like cast iron steel, I think.
We have Digger Brad with us with metal detecting to see if we can find artifacts. We have Joel Kelsey, who is responsible for finding the ship mast, and we're all going to discuss and look at the artifacts and try to determine when this ship came from, where, and how. So let's get to the discovery.
For those who don't know me, I'm Digger Brad, aka known as Breadbox Sal. Thank you for having me, Sandra K, Joel, Jody, and LTV. This man right over here, Joel, found this amazing actual spot we're going to, and I believe that the ship is definitely probably 17 to 1800s. The reason why is because of the length of it. Is definitely not just a log sitting on the beach. So when I first saw the picture, I was very impressed with the find from Joel, and I have to give him mad props.
Thank you, sir.
Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here.
Now, Joel, you made this incredible discovery, which we're going to take a look at pretty shortly.
Yeah.
A ship mast. Tell us, when did you discover it? And I know you mentioned you were also with a friend.
Yeah.
When did you discover it, and what did you think?
So about few months ago, maybe 2 or 3, me and my buddy Patrick Ruff, we were cruising around walking his dogs. One of those little guys took off. We call him Mouse. Took off. Next thing you know, we ended up here.
Okay.
This is where we started looking for him, and then he's like, "Oh, what's that random looking log over there?" I'm like, "That ain't no log, dude."
Wow.
We got a little bit closer. Next thing you know, you realize there's some really old steel on there, and obviously.
So you knew right away.
Well, I knew right away because I'm always looking for things like that. It's just naturally in me. I've been doing it since I was younger. But I noticed the new wall, and I noticed that recently there was a storm. I knew that obviously because I live here.
Sure.
So there was a big storm, and then I could see that right here was cut out. As you can see up there, it's still like that.
Yeah.
But it was carved down like that all the way to the bottom here. So when I saw that, I was like, that was obviously washed up. I mean, uncovered. Sorry.
Sure.
Uncovered recently. So, you know.
How big would you say that is?
I go with about 26 feet long, most likely.
That's incredible.
And you know, you can tell it was preserved the way it was because you can see the sand built up upon it, and then the clasps around it
Sure.
were just sitting on top. And there was one that wasn't even, you know, the rest of it was just completely rusted away. It was just perfectly sitting on top. Like a strong gust of wind could have pushed it, so I knew that it recently came from underneath the sand. It was washed, you know.
And do we
everything
know
washed away.
what those clasps are made of?
I would say, I mean, Brad probably has a
Better
better answer for
idea?
that, but,
Okay.
but I would say, you know, cast iron steel.
Okay.
Probably
Pretty cool.
a few millimeters thick.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, we're going to meet Digger Brad now. He's going to help us with Joel in discovering some more artifacts. Tell us more about this ship.
So, just a mount right of threshold. There's a lot of iron. Called it.
Oh, wow. What is it?
It's an old light bulb.
I don't know what. Hold on.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It's
So,
hard to
Brad,
tell.
like, what year would this be from, would you guess?
1900s.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, very neat.
Well, as you know, the East Coast is a very, very big, important key part of our history here, and also during the American Revolutionary War and Civil War. A lot of times, this was the key port for goods. They brought a lot of stuff into town. Montauk was also a key part for goods, but the key part for the history and the culture here is that it was the only port at the time to America. All the way from Maine to Florida was the only way they can get in and out of the East Coast of America.
So
The
do we
pirates.
think that this mast has been floating
Yes.
for 100 years
It's
or
that-
more?
or
And-
more at least, yes. Because it's not, because when I see this directly, I mean, I'm looking at it, and when I see it, there's no possible way for that to be like that. So a lot of times you would have lanterns that became fake lights, became, you know, right people trying to take your ship, trying to take your life.
Talking spices, metals.
Everything, spices, metals, clothing, money, jewelry, you know, your gold, your silver, your bronze, your copper, and
Where you got the other homies that come for their plunder.
exactly,
Right.
yeah.
It's
I-
still a puzzle.
Yes, that's what multi-setting is all about. Yeah.
If this was a merchant ship, was it taken over by the pirates?
Who knows? I don't know
Was
that.
it the
but
1800s?
I think
Could've been.
definitely around there, 1800s. When you see stuff like that, to me, that's an ordinary piece of wood.
Right.
Definitely not.
No,
We're all here together
we're
right
all
now.
here together because our ancestors came to this country to start a new life.
What this is made of, the clasp? Is that
Definitely.
copper? Or is
No,
it steel?
it's iron or steel.
It's iron or steel. So that would indicate that it came from a little later period, right? If it was iron or steel? You know, I mean 1800s as opposed
Yeah.
to 1700s?
Yes, because 1700s, a lot of this would have been a lot more thinner.
Right. And do we think the ship, I mean this is obviously wood, do
Yeah.
we think that the ship was made of wood?
Yes, I think that it's made of wood because there was no way that it would have been like this. This is the only way it might have been made was definitely. Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Oh yeah. So
Is that like a hole for a nail
or something? Yes, because this pegs. Yes, definitely pegs. Because you can see here that this was definitely that was definitely not made. I mean, it was definitely man-made, but you know, nobody used a drill or anything to do that. Because you can definitely see the grooves here, and then this is definitely, yeah, that's a lot harder and it's a lot thicker. So definitely, I'm gonna put it between 1800s to 1900.
Okay.
Because of the way of the actual band itself and the way it feels and how heavy it is. It's definitely not 1700s because this would have been a lot more thinner and a lot more breakable. So when things get like this and it's hard and, you know, from the sun and everything, it's just nice. It's
You think it started degrading more after it was exposed?
Yes, everything starts to degrade after it exposes because the sun gets heat, and a lot of times, you know.
And Joel, you said you found this how many months ago, would you say?
I mean, I gotta say there's a bit of snow on the ground.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
so it's several months ago.
More than a few, I think.
Okay. All right.
But, still,
so
I mean,
it's going to keep deteriorating if
not this much of it was exposed, but then it got recovered back up again. The back
Okay.
end of it, at least, you know, it was more exposed, and then the wind shifted and brought more sand around it. Obviously, now that I'm looking at it in the back end, at least, or front, I can't really tell, to be honest. But that looks thicker towards his end, so I'm guessing that was where whatever happened, it broke, or however.
Yeah.
Well, there's another peg right in front of you, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another
Wow.
peg. That's iron, which is very cool.
This puppy right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, that is.
That looks like it was like hand driven in, I think.
Yes, definitely. Oh yeah, you can tell. That was actually made from the same type of wood, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Jordy, if you can just get it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show the kind of different shape that it made. It's
A hexagon or something.
yeah. Normally, this would not be. Normally, this would just sit down like that. But for that to be in there, that definitely tells me that it's definitely a ship. Because when you find pegs like this, you know that you're definitely a shipwreck. Because there's no way that it could have been from a house or anything. Because this would not be looking like this.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many clasps. I mean, we see two.
Yeah, but the interesting part is that it's where that there might have been another.
There was another.
clasp right there.
There. Now, would this be indicative of another potential clasp?
No, that might have been part of the actual ship.
Okay.
Yeah, because they would
So
have to
we-
drill in the spikes, and then they'd probably have to nail it somehow,
Yeah.
and then that would definitely be somehow, because they would definitely, for me, it's like they would definitely have the things here along the lines, and then somehow, in order for to keep the wood, they would have to use both iron and
So we think there are at least 3 masts.
3 masts.
Okay.
Probably yes, because wood doesn't split like this.
Hey, why is it split down the middle? That's what I was wondering.
Because most of the times when you find shipwrecks, the boards actually kind of tell you, but this wood right here with the split like this, it definitely might have hit something really hard when it came down, or probably like something or a rock, or might have just been like that.
Yeah, just ripped right open.
Just ripped totally right open, because there's no way that this was done by a human or anything like that.
Yeah, we got
lot of stuff.
iron clasps, iron seal. We know we've got a wood ship. We know we have at least 3 masts. And we think it may have been a storm or a hurricane.
I mean, that, or they just hit shore, but like, look, they got the wooden pegs driven straight in. There's one there, there's an old one here. Check that out, that's old.
Yeah.
That's driven in, that's barely in there. I don't even want to mess with it, you know what I mean? See how loose it is, but you can tell that's driven in.
Yeah.
It's all hand driven
cool.
in. Look, there's another peg right there.
Yeah, there it
Pegs
is, the other peg.
You know, back in the day, you know, dudes were just climbing up there, twining rope, like,